All right. Well, in this little video, I want to talk about two little words that may seem like they're very similar, but they're not. It's the word and, A-N-D, and the word but, B-U-T. I'm not talking about what I'm sitting on, but, B-U-T. Okay. And why am I talking about this? Because actually, in communication and in leadership, there are some times when you want to use one and other times that you want to use the other. And when you get it wrong, there can actually be some pretty painful repercussions. So let's start by talking about and, okay? It's a conjunction that is used to connect words of the same part of speech, clauses, or sentences taken jointly. So the two things go together like bread and butter, rock and roll. Both things are together and should be taken together. So when you're using and in a sentence, you want people to remember both ideas you are communicating. It's not just about the rock. It's not just about the roll. It's about the rock and the roll. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. It's also a way of adding something to the end of a sentence that's going to have less resistance for the people that you're talking to. And so that's another reason why, from a leadership perspective and a communication perspective, the word and can actually be very, very helpful. Okay, and we're going to get to that. But first, let's jump back now to the word but, because this is one I want to give you a very practical takeaway today. But is also a conjunction. Okay, so they both act in similar ways. But it's what's interesting about but is it introduces a phrase or clause that contrasts with what has already been mentioned, or it can be used as an expression of apology for what one is about to say. And here's the thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to the word but, is I teach something called reversing your buts. Now, the reason for that is most of the time we will say things like this. You did a really great job on that project, Jason, but I wish you would have done this differently. Okay, so because, again, the word but is actually used as a way of apology, when we put it in a sentence like that, here's what happens subconsciously to the person. They forget what you said to begin with. So you're giving somebody a compliment at the beginning of the sentence, then you use the word but. They do not hear the compliment anymore. All they focus on is the negative piece. Okay, now, if you reverse your buts, you're just switching the order in which you are actually delivering the same message. Okay. So instead, I could say, the first scenario was, Jason, you did a really great job on the project, but you could do this and this and this better next time. Just switch it around. Jason, you could do this and this and this better next time, but you did a really great job on the project. Now, as a leader, why do I care, right? It's because you're actually delivering the same message, but it is being received by the other person better. Okay, if you get that, it instead of negating and actually making your compliment not mean anything. In fact, most people, we've conditioned ourselves. When someone compliments you, you think, oh shit, something's about to happen, right? Because people don't just compliment me unless they want something. They're buttering me up. Ha ha ha. Here's our bread and butter on the and again. They're buttering me up to ask me or get me to do something else. So it's a little subconscious communication and leadership trick to actually be able to deliver the same message, but actually in a better way that is received better by the other person. And so again, you can also just switch out the word but for and it will actually also, it won't be as effective as reversing your buts, but saying something like, Jason, you did a really good job on that project, and next time I would like you to do this. Okay. Replacing the word and, even though the sentence structure is not in there and you haven't reversed your buts like I'm suggesting, using the word and instead of but is also a better way for people to be able to accept that. Because again, the word but, when that happens, subconsciously we shut off and we don't listen to the first part of what you are actually saying. Okay, so again, two little words that can have a big impact on how you are communicating and how effective you are able to communicate with others. So this has been helpful for you. I'm glad, because this actually will have a big impact on the effectiveness of your communications. So when you're ready to take your leadership and communication to a whole new level, make sure and join me in the Briefing Leadership Program, where you'll learn ninja tricks just like this that will take your career to a whole new level. So learn more and get registered at the link included here, and we'll see you in that course.